Almost, and we are go. Hello, everybody. So glad to see you all today. Hello, let's all wave hello to Facebook Live. Hi, Facebook. Nice to see you all today. Thank you so much for joining us today on Saturday, February 18. We are just a little more than halfway through our month of celebrating Black History and Valentine's Day love, or love in general. And super excited to be here today on day 1049. Thank you so much, Carolyn in Idaho, for reminding me of what day we are. And everybody help me wave hi to Facebook Live. Hi, Facebook. We're so glad you joined us today. Thank you so much for being here. We have a real treat today, and I think you're going to love singing along. And I want to shout a hello to Aaron Geyer running the tech today from Brooklyn, New York. Hi, Aaron. And of course, Namvula coming in from the UK, our singer-songwriter for the day. And I'll be back to you in a moment, Namvula. Let's say hello to Trish in Victoria, and Trish's person walking around in the background. Stephen Michelle in Silver Spring, Maryland. Nice to see you. Kathy in McLean. Nice to see you today. And Kevin in Washington, D.C. with his golden flute. Annette in California. Hello. Carolyn in Idaho. Jean in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Nice to have you with us today. Susan in Ohio. There's Pauline and Dad, or maybe Dad almost, coming in the background in Newcastle, UK. Nice to see you, Pauline, and hugs to William wherever he is. Hello to Sheila in Florida, Amanda and Miles in Michigan. Hi, Jim in New York City. Hello to Luda in Victoria, British Columbia. Hello to Willard coming in from Vermont. Nice to see you today. Arlene in Berkeley, California. Anne in Nashville. Hello, nice to see you. Hi to Dory and Ollie in Rhode Island. Bob, Mabel, and the Bears in Massachusetts. Hello to Hoda in British Columbia. Susan in Seattle. Deli in Maryland. Bob in Albany. Hi to Bonnie and Ione in Michigan. We're so glad you guys are here today. I always love when Bonnie is visiting her mama, who's celebrated her, remind me, Bonnie, celebrated her 102nd birthday in our room. Do I have that right? And is 103 now. Bonnie's going to put it in the chat for me. We're so glad that you guys are here today. Really, really happy to see you both. We've got, okay. Nope, not yet. We've got Storm in Massachusetts. Hello. We have Sarah in Texas. Hello. Bronwyn in Victoria. Nice to see you today. Claire in Boise, Idaho. Hello. Jane in Texas. Caroline in DC. Carol in Connecticut, the maker of the sheet. Bob and Mabel and the Bears. Oh, now you're all there, huh? Linda in Orcas Island. Hello, Jim Harkless, coming in from Silver Spring, Maryland. Glad you're here today. Karen in, I think that's Iowa. And Penny and Ralph in Victoria. Nice to see you. And folks off video today. Hi, Laris, coming in from the UK. Gary, I think I said hi to you already. Leah, Jenny in Suffolk. Isabel in Florida. We're so glad you're here again. Lynn in Connecticut. Linda Rose in Massachusetts. I think I got everybody. Let's all take a deep breath. Yeah. Whew. It's Saturday, and I hope it is as sunny where you are as it is where I am. It is definitely becoming spring here. We have crocuses up and actually a lot of like daffodils nearing budding, which is very weird for this time of year. And it brings a lot of joy to see sort of the starting of blooms and the arriving of warm weather, and also, of course, a lot of confusion as we think about what it all means to our greater globe and our greater climate issues. So yeah, I see some thumbs down over there. I know my flowers are beautiful, but they're probably going to freeze in another week. So, I do want to, oh, look, and Anne in Nashville has a bunch of daffodils. Beautiful, Anne in sunny Nashville. Love it. I do want to remind all of you, for anybody who's new in the room or for anybody who's on Facebook, that we are here every single day at noon Eastern doing exactly what we're going to do today. In case you're wondering what that is, I'm going to get us started. Coming in from the UK, Namvula, brand new to us today. I think that we met Namvula through Jaka?
Yes.
Yaka Skapin? Is that, yes, who sang with us in this room and brought us something absolutely delightful, and we believe is going to be coming back as a host and as a song leader again in the near future. And he introduced us to Namvula. And Namvula, I think you said that your heritage is that your mom or dad are Zimbabwean
Zambia.
and Zambian and Scottish. And now you are in the UK. And you are a singer-songwriter, and this is not something you wrote today, is that correct?
This is not something I wrote, no.
Okay. Do you want to tell us just a tiny bit about the song and then teach it to us, and then we'll chat more about it afterwards?
Sure. So this song is a song that was taught to me by a friend of mine, a Senegalese griot, kora player, and it comes from his region of the world in West Africa. It is said to originate as far back as the 8th century, and has obviously been passed down in oral tradition. And it is said to stem from what is now modern day Mali, but was the Kingdom of Ghana. And it is a song about a great python, but I think Joe and I will discuss the varying permutations of the meanings of that song. But that's what this song is that we will be singing today.
Very cool. Thank
Yeah, yeah.
you. Yeah, will you teach us the parts that we're going to sing?
Of course. Well, I'd love it if everyone could sing all of it. This is the part where it's kind of the choral part in response to what the griot sings around the song. So this is the public participation part of the song. So what I'll do is I'll sing the whole thing all the way through, and then break it down into smaller sections. Are the lyrics up? Yeah, perfect. So this is how it sounds in its entirety, and then we'll break it down. So, Miniyamba, Saba, Miniyamba, Miniyamba, Saba, ye konolelo, Saba, Miniyamba, Miniyamba, Saba, Miniyamba. Miniyamba Saba ye konolelo Saba Miniyamba. And then the second section goes Woye konolelo Saba ye konolelo Kuba leketa kuleke Saba Miniyamba. So we'll start from the beginning and I'll break it down a couple of lines at a time. So we'll start with the first section, with the first line. Miniyamba, Saba, Miniyamba. Your turn. Miniyamba, Saba, Miniyamba. I'll do that one more time. Miniyamba, Saba, Miniyamba. And Miniyamba, Saba, Miniyamba. The second one. Miniyamba sabaye konolelo. And Miniyamba sabaye konolelo. I'll sing that one more time. Miniyamba sabaye konolelo. And Miniyamba sabaye konolelo. Okay, so from the top it goes Miniyamba, Saba, Miniyamba, Miniyamba, Saba, ye konolelo. And we'll try that together. And Miniyamba, Saba, Miniyamba. Miniyamba sabaye konolelo. And then at the end of that phrase, we throw in a Saba Miniyamba. So it goes, Miniyamba sabaye konolelo, Saba Miniyamba. Let's try that together. And Miniyamba sabaye konolelo, Saba Miniyamba. So we'll try that first section. I'll sing it once through, all the way through. Join in if you feel comfortable, and then we'll sing it a second time all the way through, and then we'll learn the second section of the song. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, and Miniyamba, Saba, Miniyamba. Miniyamba sabaye konolelo Saba Miniyamba Miniyamba Saba Miniyamba Miniyamba sabaye konolelo Saba Miniyamba. Wonderful. And the second part of the song goes Woye konolelo. I'll sing that again. Woye konolelo. I'll let you join in. 2, 3. Woye konolelo. And one more time. Woye konolelo. And then the next line goes, Saba ye konolelo. I'll sing that again. Saba ye konolelo. So the two lines together go, Woye konolelo, Sabaye konolelo. And your turn. Woye konolelo, Sabaye konolelo. I'll do that bit again. Woye konolelo, Sabaye konolelo. And woye konolelo, Sabaye konolelo. Then we go. Kuba keita, kuleke. And Kuba keita, oh sorry. Kuba keita, kuleke. We'll do that one more time. Kuba keita, kuleke. I'll sing that whole second section up to that point. Woye konolelo, Sabaye konolelo. Kuba keita, kuleke. Your turn. Woye konolelo, Sabaye konolelo. Kuba keita, kuleke. We'll do that again. Woye konolelo, Sabaye konolelo. Kuba keita, kuleke. Then we tag on Saba Miniyamba. So it goes Kuba keita, Saba Miniyamba. Let's try. Kuba keita, Saba Miniyamba. We're ready to try that second section all together. I'll sing it one time round. Join in if you feel comfortable, and join in the second time round if you'd like to hear it all the way through. So here we go. Woye konolelo, Sabaye konolelo. Kuba keita, kuleke. Saba Miniyamba. Woye konolelo, Sabaye konolelo. Kuba keita, kuleke. Saba Miniyamba. So from the top. Miniyamba, Saba Miniyamba. Miniyamba, Sabaye konolelo. Saba Miniyamba. Again. Miniyamba, Saba Miniyamba. Miniyamba, Sabaye konolelo. Saba Miniyamba. Second section. Woye konolelo, Sabaye konolelo. Kuba keita, kuleke. Saba Miniyamba. Woye konolelo, Sabaye konolelo. Kuba keita, kuleke. Saba Miniyamba. Then we go straight back to the top. Miniyamba. So it goes in a kind of loop, in a rolling loop. Joe, I don't know how many times you'd like. I think.
Yeah, I feel like everybody definitely has it. How about if we
Yeah.
sing it through once or twice, whatever you think?
Yeah.
That we all just get it in our bones,
Yeah.
and then we'll chat about it.
Exactly. So the first section repeats twice. The second section usually goes straight back to the top. So if we think of that form, so we sing that first section twice round, the second section one, and then we loop straight back to the top. So we can sing that through twice. Okay? Here we go. 2, 3, and Miniyamba, Saba, Miniyamba. Miniyamba, Saba, ye konolelo. Saba, Miniyamba. Miniyamba, Saba, Miniyamba. Miniyamba, Saba, ye konolelo. Saba, Miniyamba. Waye konolelo, Sabaye konolelo. Kuba keita, Kuba keita, kuleke. Saba Miniyamba. To the top. Miniyamba. Saba Miniyamba. Miniyamba, Sabaye konolelo. Saba Miniyamba. Miniyamba, Saba Miniyamba. Miniyamba, Sabaye konolelo. Saba Miniyamba. Woye konolelo, Sabaye konolelo. Kuba keita, kuleke. Saba Miniyamba. And this is just a song that you could keep looping round and looping round. And actually, the cool thing about this song is you can sing it in a two-part, so you can fit the second section under the first section for any people who work with groups out there. Yeah.
Absolutely gorgeous. Thank you so much. Let's please tell Namvula thank you.
You're so welcome.
Yeah, I think you could see all the thanks with everybody getting so into the singing today. I think maybe because once you learn it, it's like in there in some super solid way. Like I could just kind of keep going and definitely was appreciating the flow of that and saw other folks in the room also appreciating that great flow. So let's
Yes,
see.
as a round.
As a round. Yeah, no kidding. So I would love to chat a little bit about the song because I know I know that you didn't write it because we talked about that before, but I think sort of like its actual point of being is so long ago and such a lovely story. Would you share that with everybody?
Sure. So I was particularly drawn to, well, I was drawn to the song because it's a beautiful song, but also because I always admire West African culture because they have held on to their culture in such a beautifully strong way, and they have the griot tradition. And where I'm from in Zambia, a lot of the oral traditions are being lost as the elders die. And so for me, it's particularly poignant that, this is still very much alive in West African culture. It's still very much sung by modern day musicians and kora players. So the song, as I mentioned, is about a great python. And I said to Joe that what I find really interesting is kind of how this song has got three different stories. As I know, there might be more. So there's three different explanations of what this song is about. So one explanation, which is the explanation of the song that was told to me by my friend, is that a pregnant woman is out in the woods collecting firewood, and she goes into labor, and the giant python helps her. It's either takes her back to her village or delivers birth, helps her deliver her child. It's ambiguous, but he helps her in some fundamental way. A second version of what this song means is that it was a great python that warded off drought, and it swallowed a village whole that was under threat of drought and transported them and deposited them in the green, fertile lands of where the song was then born. And a third version of the song is that it originated in response to so there was a tradition of sacrificing the most beautiful maiden to the giant python, so that he could ward off drought. And a man who is in love with the maiden who is about to be sacrificed goes into the woods and kills the python, and then the village goes into 7 years of drought. And the song is about that. So what I find particularly interesting about history in general and oral tradition in particular is that how things can shift and change depending on who's telling the story and whose memory stories are coming from, and what people want to highlight in their histories and what they want to kind of push aside, and the bits that they want to kind of bring to the front. So yeah.
That is so great. Thank you so much. So it's not exactly a choose your own adventure, like hubby Jenkins reads out loud online, one of our singer-songwriters, but it's almost sort of like a choose your own, as you were saying, sort of like history, or like, depending on the day, you might prefer one over the other, just based on the stories you're telling yourself about your world on that day. And so
Yeah.
it was lovely to harmonize too. The first part being much easier, and then the second part
Yes.
being a lot trickier, and was a lot of fun to play around with that. And I'm guessing there were folks also playing with harmonies here. So your history, your own history, I think informs your songwriting.
Yeah.
I saw, I think the way that you had maybe phrased it online was sort of like blending the urban and folk traditions of your homeland with the urban and folk traditions of where you now live. Can you chat about that a little bit and how that melds for you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a child of the diaspora, and I have moved around various continents, various countries. And I think that moving and being a child of the diaspora leaves you with a large sense, a big sense of longing for a place that you can feel rooted in. And so the particularly my first album was very much me searching for um, my roots, my Zambian heritage, because my dad also grew up in Africa, so I just generally felt closer to that side of my heritage than I did the Scottish side. But at the same time, I'm a child of of movement and of migration, and I've absorbed so many different influences, and I'm particularly drawn to folk traditions like this song from around the world, and particularly drawn to strong lyricism, and so all of this has informed how I write my music. And now I think I've worked through the kind of need to be strongly rooted or find my roots through my music. I think my music is a lot broader. I've given myself space and allowance to be more of a child of the diaspora rather than a child searching for where she's from.
That is great. That actually like exactly segues into so you were saying how that's what you were doing in your first album. And so that same journey that you're describing sort of feels to me like exactly how you ended up on the album that you're working on now, which is to say, like, you've gone through the parts that are about you and your own search into this sort of more global search or global recognition of our unification. So can you chat about that a little bit?
Yeah, and I think even that has been a process. My second album, I was really interested in exploring femalehood and its different forms and what it meant, what the stories of women who'd really inspired me, the stories of women that had broken my heart, and I think through that kind of inspection and introspection, I then in the during the making of that album was pregnant with my first child and recorded when I was very heavily pregnant, and then becoming a mother. Kind of really shifted my perspective on a lot of things, and I think brought started striking kind of things that already I was worried about, but then I became much more worried about with greater. I guess there was a greater urgency to my worry, because then I had brought a small child into this world, and I started thinking about the big questions of the climate crisis A brown skinned boy growing up in quite a right wing, increasingly kind of anti migration UK, and the implications of that, the implications um, of us being a family of the diaspora, the struggles that we had to go through just to get my husband his paperwork to be here, even though we now have two kids here and they're born here, and I'm from here, and just kind of those big questions about how do we navigate. It feels like a moment of crisis, in so many ways. How do we navigate this world that seems increasingly kind of fractured, and increasingly kind of views that are extremely opposing, and no one actually wants to listen to each other, and everyone just seems to be shouting at each other, and social media doesn't help that because no one actually dialogues on social media. People just posit their thoughts, and you can't really actually engage in meaningful dialogue. And we've become kind of further. I feel like we're further and further away from community and togetherness, and even though there are wonderful spaces like this, of community and of togetherness and of humanity, it feels like what I felt like there was this kind of pulling and pushing of quite strong tides, and I was trying to understand that and navigate that, as a mum, as a human. And then it came out in the next body of work, which is called All Shades of the Sun, because we are all shades of the sun, and essentially it takes quite a philosophical, I think, starting point. I use Rumi as a big source of inspiration, the writings of Rumi, the writings of Khalil Gibran, um, but then also kind of trying to understand, like, how do we remain human, how do we remain connected to others, how do we remain connected to ourselves amidst all of this noise, amidst all of this fracture. One of the songs is a direct response to the black, everything that was happening, the crisis that was in the States around the Black Lives Matter movement, and you know and it's one of the favorite songs that I've written off of that EP, and it's called The Fields, and it is based on a Rumi quote where he asks, he says, there is, beyond our thoughts about right doing and wrong doing, there is a field. And so I'm asking, is there a space that we can lay ourselves down, put our egos down, put our ideas of what's right and what's wrong down, and actually just meet? And I don't know if, I'm sure many of you will have seen the image of, she was, I think, 18 at the time, very slim black girl, who was kneeling in front of the police, and this armed, I mean, this picture is, universal. We've seen it hundreds and thousands of times across the globe, but, and she had her head, shaved, and she was just so slim and so vulnerable, and there was something that really like hit my heart seeing that image, and so I wrote a song in direct response to that. And yeah, so, and a song in direct response to like the xenophobia that I think is increasingly apparent in Europe, and the choices that people are making in terms of who governs them, and yeah. So it's really how can we stay human? How do we draw on the best aspects of our humanity amidst all of this that we are facing?
Thank you, Namvula. That is just absolutely beautiful, beyond beautiful. And it is, I think, it's interesting because a lot of times I do end up talking to my mom friends about how the parenting changed us, and then how all of this, what is happening right now, is affecting us as parents and looking at our kids. And I sense that, although I don't know it because I am who I am, I sense that it is probably equally as impactful for folks who don't have kids and who are looking at any kids that they love, or all kids in general. Just that sense of sort of, how do you provide your children with a path, or with hope, or with clarity, when your own self is feeling potentially not as hopeful, or not as clear, or
Mm,
not as. So I love the way that you have sort of created, in musical language, some of the sort of like confusions or ups or downs or journeys that we're on right now where there aren't answers other than love and
Mm,
hope, which
mm,
um, in their abstractness on some days you can't find that love or that hope, right? And you have to try to figure out what is the thing that is going to raise you back up again. And of course
mm,
it is a lot of times the music, right? So
yeah.
these songs that you're writing that are inquiring on these journeys are also probably going to be helping a lot of other folks to find their own space on the journey. So
Mm.
what a bunch of beautiful thought you are putting into being basically a human in this particular world. And thank you for translating that into art that we're all going to be able to share, and appreciate that so much.
Thank you.
Do you have a release date? You might have said it and I wasn't paying attention.
No, I haven't said it because because having two children always kind of throws multiple spanners in the works. So this was a project that was supposed to be released last year, and then I was like, oh, I'm going to release it in March, and now I'm like, oh, we're in February, and yeah, still haven't figured that bit out. So it will be released at some point in the next, I would say, 2 to 3 months. Yeah. And
That's
it's actually
exciting.
going to be a double EP, so there's two projects coming out this year, and they'll be back to back. Yeah,
Beautiful. Well, we are extending an invitation to you right now around the time when it comes out to jump in here for a session, and we'll do a little CD
yeah,
release jamming. So that will
beautiful.
be really
Thank
fun.
you, thank you.
Um, Thank you. I was going to ask you just quickly, because we didn't touch on this much before, or maybe at all before, and it's one of the things I wanted to talk about, but I think we might have to really get into it next time, since we've been having such a lot of fun that we're not paying any attention to the time, and I love. Um, can you just say something briefly about your Africa Film project, and we'll put some links in the chat
Oh,
for it.
yeah.
And
I mean, I'm not actively involved in it anymore, but with a friend of mine who is a lecturer, a wonderful lecturer at the School of Oriental and African Studies, though they have recently changed their name, so I don't know what officially it is, at the University of London. We set up an African film festival, and it is called Film Africa. And at the time, well, they show about 70 films um, of the continent and of the diaspora, or about the continent. And they have a kind of complementary program of talks and music as well. And it was very much a labor of love, because we didn't feel that the continent was being very well represented in in the UK, for the most part. And yeah, so it's wonderful that years on, it's still going.
that's
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
Are the films only like shown in person, or are there ever sort of online events?
I don't think that there are online events, but if you look up Film Africa, yeah, as far as I know, it's in person.
Okay.
But I'm not 100% sure. I'm
Okay.
not
So
100% sure.
thank you. We're going to put the link to Film Africa in the chat because
Yeah.
it's an incredible website. I was having such fun exploring it, but I forgot to actually check as to whether or not they're ever in online or in person. But I was going to say it is just like right there another excuse for why we all need to get to the UK to
Well,
drive the
Amanda has written 2020 was online. Yes, it would have been if it was during the
nice
pandemic, but it would be nice if they, kept some online
com
element of
component.
it, component
Yeah,
to it. Yeah,
yeah, no,
yeah,
that would be
for
really
sure,
cool.
for sure.
Yeah, so well, we'll have to take the Daily Antidote of Song bus past your door and to the African film showings, and then onward to see Phil in the UK and all of our other folks in this room. We'll go see Peggy Seeger. Everybody ready for the bus ride? Because I'm so ready to see all these folks in person. Namvula, thank you so much.
Yes.
It feels definitely like we are just getting started in a lot of our discussions, so we really can't wait to sing with you and have you back here and chat
Yeah.
more.
Yeah.
Um,
Just to throw in one last thing that I forgot to mention, that I will be doing a listening party for the EPs, and also some sort of online. It won't be a kind of full-on online streaming of the live kind of thing. I'm going to be doing a lot of the backstory chat, so I'll be reading my sources of inspiration, reading a bit from my journal, reading a bit of poetry, singing a couple of songs, live. So there's two things happening. There's like the EP listening part, thing, and the a kind of launch that will be a lot of chatting because I like
Sounds
chatting.
amazing.
So sign up to the to my newsletter if you want to stay in the loop about those things that will be coming down the
Great.
line.
Thank you so much. What a treat. I'm so excited to check out that and to hopefully be able to come. And thanks everybody. We're so looking forward to singing with you all again tomorrow and with Namvula again in the near future. And Namvula, can we sing your fabulous song once more before we have to go?
Yes, we
Or
shall do it.
maybe can we do it
Mhm.
all the way through with the
Let's
two,
do it all the
the
way
one
through.
verse and then the
Yeah.
two again?
Okay, sure. So we can end at the if we do two of the first verse, one of the second verse, and two of the first verse, and end at the end there. Does that
Perfect.
sound good?
Sounds
Okay.
great.
Thank you all for being here, and wishing you well. Wishing you a beautiful weekend and a beautiful spring ahead, and may you stay well in health and in heart and in hope. Okay. Here we go. Me, 1, 2, 3, and Miniyamba, Saba, Miniyamba, Miniyamba, Saba, ye konolelo, Saba, Miniyamba, Miniyamba, Saba, Miniyamba. Miniyamba sabaye konolelo saba miniyamba. Woye konolelo sabaye konolelo. Kuba keita, kuleke saba miniyamba. Miniyamba saba miniyamba. Miniyamba sabaye konolelo saba miniyamba. Miniyamba saba miniyamba. Miniyamba sabaye konolelo saba miniyamba.
Wow, thank you so much. That
You're
was
so
just
very welcome.
extraordinarily beautiful. And we want to thank everybody for being here today. Namvula, really just lovely to meet you and to share space with you. And actually, can we all please give it up for Namvula one more time?
Thank you. Thank you for having me, for your beautiful space, inviting me
Thank
into your space
you.
and into your homes.
Thank you so much. Yeah, we all get to be in each other's homes a little bit. That is one of our little silver linings of the pandemic. And we do actually, one of the things we didn't much chat with you about was the silver linings and not silver linings in the pandemic. So we'll get to that next time.
For another time.
And have fun with your kiddos for the rest of your Saturday. Enjoy your family time. And
Thank
we look
you.
forward to seeing you another time.
Amen.
Thank you,
Thank
Namvula.
you.
Thank you for being here today. And thanks to all the folks who joined us today. We'll say goodbye to everybody and look forward to seeing you all tomorrow for some more music. And that's thanks to Kevin in DC. Thanks to Pauline. And there's William. This is a hello and a goodbye to William in Newcastle. Lovely to see you. Thanks to Bonnie and Ione in Michigan. And by the way, Ione is going to be turning 104 this year. I saw Bonnie put in the chat. So cool. Hope we get to celebrate that birthday in here too. Cricket in Maryland, great to see you. And Kat in Vermont, lovely to see you. Thank you so much. I see Alice May and Willard in Vermont. Lovely to see 2 curly tops out of 4. Linda on Orcas Island, lovely to have you. Gary, nice to see you today. Thanks so much for being here. And hi to Christy in the background, wherever she is. Stephen Michelle in Silver Spring, Maryland. Thanks for being here today. Kathy, thank you so much for being here from McLean, Virginia. Annette in California, thank you. Carolyn Wolf in Idaho, thank you. Susan G in Ohio, thank you. Amanda and Miles with at least Amanda visible, thank you. And there's the other 2 curly tops, Mom and Pop Top over there. Nice to see you guys in Vermont. Arlene in California, thank you. Ann in sunny Nashville, thank you. Dory without Ali at the moment in Rhode Island, thank you. Susan in Seattle, Deli in Maryland, Claire in Boise, Idaho, great to see you. Glad you made it today. Bob and Mabel and a bunch of dancing bears doing this. There they go. Do 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 song. All right. Fred in Silver Spring, Maryland. Thank you, Sarah in Texas. Great to see your smile. Aaron, thanks again for running the tech for us today. Diane in Puerto Rico, thank you. Jane in Texas, thank you. Storm in Massachusetts. Penny and Ralph in Victoria, BC. Nice to have both of you here today. And folks off video today, Sheila and Caroline in DC, Carol in Connecticut, Laris in the UK, Leah in Illinois, Isabel in Florida, Lynn in Connecticut. Thank you so much for being here today. Thanks to everybody out there on Facebook Live.